This is your stimulus package review 2020. Please like and subscribe at the bottom of the page. We at Stimulus Package Review believe that it's stimulus or bust for the economy, and the Fed is urging for more stimulus. Will the Republican Party allow fiscal conservatism to cause disaster at a time when government spending is essential, yet they are holding firm to their outdated economic values? Yes, Nancy Pelosi introduced the bill far in the advance of the Republican/President Trump proposal, yet House Speaker Pelosi's bill has pork and it should be shaved to feed the American people. In a recent article, Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin cited progress in economic relief talks but obstacles with Republicans. During a 90-minute call, the two negotiators said they continued to exchange proposals on stimulus virus testing. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin cited progress Thursday in their ongoing coronavirus relief negotiations less than 3 weeks before the November elections, though the Democrat leader raised concerns about whether any big spending package could pass Congress given the fierce resistance in the GOP-controlled Senate. Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin have been discussing a new spending bill between $1.8 trillion and $2.2 trillion, although President Trump has said he would support even more. The rapidly developing changes came late Thursday after a nearly 90-minute conversation between the two negotiators. They both cited progress in solving one of Pelosi's top demands for a national strategic testing plan to better detect the coronavirus. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin told her that the White House would accept the Democrats' proposal with some minor modifications, according to Pelosi's spokesman, confirming comments Treasury Secretary Mnuchin himself had made. Earlier in the day, however, opposition from Senate Republicans emerged Thursday as a formidable obstacle to any deal passing Congress before Election Day. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Senate Republicans had already made known their discomfort with any big new spending plan. McConnell next week plans to put a roughly $500 billion package on the Senate floor, close to a quarter the size of the package Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and House Speaker Pelosi are working on. The Senate GOP leader spent much of Thursday doubling down on his opposition, publicly denouncing the White House deal taking shape and squatting away Trump's directive to go big or go home. He is willing to go higher than my members are, McConnell said of Trump while speaking at a medical center in Princeton, Kentucky Thursday afternoon. McConnell said he didn't think Pelosi and Mnuchin would reach a deal anyway, and at an earlier event the majority leader all but ruled out a vote on large-scale relief bill. You're correct, we are in discussions with the Secretary of Treasury and the Speaker about a higher amount, McConnell told a reporter. That's not what I'm going to put on the floor. The drastically divergent views come as the economy showing new signs of strain and the coronavirus is beginning to spread rapidly again through numerous corners of the United States. Pelosi raised the issue of Michaela's opposition in her car with Mnuchin. According to her spokesman Drew Hamill, the secretary indicated that the president would weigh in with Leader McConnell should an agreement be reached. On Twitter, however, Trump's erratic approach to the negotiations makes it uncertain whether he can or would exert the necessary political pressure to send Republicans to take a vote many of them do not want to take, especially at a moment when the president is down in the pool and some Republicans have begun to distance himself. On Thursday, for example, Trump called for even more stimulus spending than the $1.8 trillion Mnuchin has offered Pelosi, but at a rally later in North Carolina he never raised the issue despite speaking for more than an hour in a state with a hotly contested Senate race and a vulnerable GOP incumbent. The shifting events Thursday seem to raise prospects that Pelosi and Mnuchin could somehow pull together a deal, even while making the ultimate outcome more uncertain than ever. Trump began the day by calling into Fox Business Network, where he criticized Mnuchin and announced he wanted more spending than what's on the table. I told him so far he hasn't come home with the bacon, the president said of Mnuchin. Around the same time, McConnell appeared on camera in Louisville, where he is campaigning for re-election. He cast his ballot at the early voting site and at a news conference afterwards issued the first of multiple denunciations of any giant spending bill. Question about Trump's directive to go big. McConnell derailed his plans to try again to advance a merely targeted bill and said, I'm proposing what we think is appropriate. Trump seems unaware or indifferent to the GOP objection to big new spending. Republicans are very willing to do it, Trump said, insisting that Pelosi is standing in the way and she's got a lot of mental problem. Nancy doesn't want to give anything. She thinks it helps her with the election. We're not holding it up, she's holding it up, Trump said. Trump added that Pelosi is asking for all sorts of goodies. She wants to bail out badly run Democratic states and cities. She wants money for nothing. Your pride couldn't let it happen. Several hours later, Front spoke at a rally in North Carolina where he riffed on any number of topics but not the stimulus. Not long after that, though, the president tweeted, Pelosi's holding up stimulus, not the Republicans. Trump's uneven posterior appears to have only strengthened Pelosi's determination to hold out for a bigger and better deal despite pressure from a number of House Democrats to reach an agreement now on a private call with members of her caucus on Thursday afternoon. Pelosi that House Democrats have maximum leverage now, according to several people on the call who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss. She said Treasury Secretary Mnuchin's proposal remains inadequate, and she said she could not accept something that the administration can't even sell to the Senate. The president even said this morning that he wants more. He said the night before, go big or go home. Pelosi told her members, so this is not the time to say, okay, let's fold. This is what we have building up to. In an interview on CNBC earlier, Mnuchin confirmed that he intended to simply meet Pelosi demands on testing, saying this issue has been overblown. Be expressed concerns about overall prospects for a deal as negotiation draw out, saying unfortunately politics just got in the way, but Mnuchin said, I will continue to negotiate until we can get a deal done that makes sense. The conversations took place amid worsening economic condition after a huge wave of layoffs in March and April. There has been noticeably an increase in following the expiration of a number of federal aid programs. The airline and travel industry have been particularly hard hit, while restaurants and other businesses continue to close nationwide. The number of new unemployment claim jumper last week. The Department of Labor reported Thursday Congress passed about $3 trillion in the emergency aid in March and April, but a number of those programs that run their course. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and Speaker Pelosi have agreed on several measures that to include in a new stimulus plan, including a desire to send another round of $1,200 stimulus checks more small business, and help to include in a new stimulus plan, including a desire to send another round of $1,200 stimulus checks more small business and help for the airline industry. They also have sought to extend emergency unemployment insurance. Although there have been differences on how to structure such assistance and multiple other issues remain unsolved, such as corporate liability protection, Democrats oppose money for cities and states and child care. Defending his call for higher spending, Trump reportedly asserted without evidence or explanation that China would pay for the nearly $2 trillion damaged package. I like to see more money because it comes back, he said on Fox Business Network. We're going to take it from China. I'll tell you right now, it's coming out of China. The president has repeatedly made false claims about foreign nation paying for domestic spending project, for instance claiming that Mexico would make false claims about foreign nation paying for domestic spending project, for instance claiming that Mexico would fund construction of a wall along the southern U.S. border. Asked how he would get China to pay for the stimulus package, Trump asserted, well, there's a lot of ways. Okay, there's a lot of ways and I'll figure all of them out. I already have them figured out. Meanwhile, coronavirus cases are on the rise across the United States and there is a downturn on Wall Street. More than 20 states hit new highs in their 7-day case average, while 4 states have seen week-to-week increases in infections. The Dow Jones Industry Average fell sharply Thursday morning before recovering most of its losses. Once again, we at Stimulus Package Updates urge Congress to pass coronavirus stimulus for airlines, PPP Paycheck Protection Program, extended unemployment benefits, money for schools, and $1,200 direct payments to individuals. Thank you for supporting our channel. Once again, like and subscribe.